on the show this week, and I've also a great interview guest with the wonderful Signed in Red. He'll be joining me from Minnesota in America a little bit after 8 o'clock this evening, and we're going to be chatting about his new song that he has out. It's a really, really great number called She Darkens Clouds. And we'll be talking about the covers I've spun over the past few weeks from him and just a lot of the projects that he has on the go at the moment. Time now for my interview guest. I'm going to be chatting with the wonderful Signed in Red. Now, Signed in Red is a solo artist based in the Midwest in the United States, Minnesota to be precise. And this project took shape in early 2025 and combines 80s synth-pop with a 90s edge and modern song structure. The lyrics and tone show the struggle, but the artist himself is in contrast to it. We're going to chat all about that. The single, or the new song, is called She Darkens Clouds. It's an intense song, it's a good song, very melodic and, yeah, lyrically profound. But I'm going to chat with Signed in Red all about that and music and everything else in between, so do stick around for the chat and enjoy it. She Darkens Clouds will play first and the chat will follow. Here we go.
There is nothing you say, but it's in the way. Our conversation yesterday, implying that I am nothing to you, nothing you'll lose, and feelings fade. Stop making me work for something that you don't even want anyway. 100 below, it's freezing me out, reflecting your heart, darkened clouds. I feel like a fool. I called you today with nothing to say, with nothing to say. You know that it's strange that it goes both ways, forgetting to speak, remembering to stop making me work for something that you don't even want anyway. 100 below, it's freezing me out, reflecting your heart, a darkened clouds. I've wasted 2 days, the feelings can't fade. I feel like we're through, I feel like you should stop making me work for something that you don't even want anyway. 100 below, it's freezing me out, reflecting your heart, a darkened. Stop making me work for something that you don't even want anyway. 100 below, it's freezing me out, reflecting your heart, a darkened clouds.
And now I am absolutely delighted to welcome on to this week's Urban Smooth as my interview guest, my featured interview guest, the wonderful Signed in Red. And we've been playing some tracks from Signed in Red over the past few weeks, maybe a couple of months, particularly the Christina Movianu song, Heaven's Blend. That's when I first discovered Signed in Red, and I've been playing some of his covers over the past while as well. It's a really, really great project, and he's a solo artist from the Midwest in the United States, Minnesota, and this project has been taking place, and it's very, very interesting music. And you've just heard a brand new original song, She Darkens Clouds, and it's very, I guess, it combines kind of 80s synth pop, and it has a 90s edge. I think it has more of a 90s edge to it. But either way, it's really, really great stuff, and I'm happy to speak to Signed in Red. So you're very welcome onto Urban Smooth.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I was looking forward to this.
Not at all. Looking forward to having you on as well. I know we've been corresponding back and forth through messages and social media and all that good stuff, all the modern stuff, but it's nice to actually talk to you, to sit down and have a conversation with you. Well, we've just played She Darkens Clouds. Really interesting song. I really like it. Has great energy to it. It's kind of a bittersweet song as well. Lyrically, it's very profound, and melodically, it's very good and interesting and all that good stuff. If you want to get started and even tell us about the song and how it came to be.
Well, I was dating somebody at the time, and we were actually even engaged, but living in different states.
Okay.
And I pretty much, we were having some difficulties, and I was like selling off things to be able to move to her, and basically uprooting my entire life. And pretty much the vibe she was giving was like, don't even bother, because it's not going to work. But of course I went through with it anyway. But
yeah,
it was kind of about the feeling of like how everything felt darker all of a sudden in my world from just the way things were going with her.
Okay, so this is quite deep, pathetic fallacy kind of thing, Yeah, you're kind of soaking up the mood of a tense situation, I suppose, and you can kind of tell in the song it has that vibe to it.
Yeah, and I kind of consider myself, I guess, like gothic pop, because it's kind of like how you said, it sounds like it's bright and happy, but then underneath it's like a little bit miserable with the lyrics.
Well, the best songs are always a bit like that. There's a bit of pathos in there, There's always kind of there's an underlining to it, like, unnerving at the edges or something like that. Yeah, but it really is a really, really interesting song. There's some really great lines. I like the line implying that I am nothing to you, nothing you lose, and feelings fade. That line struck a chord with me.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, I think I was kind of going for a bit of a dance pop kind of song, so I kept the lyrics sort of simple,
Gotcha.
in that light. But yeah.
It's an interesting song, and I'm enjoying your covers. This is the first original song I've heard. I'm sure you have many before, and I will check them out and we'll spin them here on Urban Smooth. And I'm looking forward to kind of the newer music to come from you. We've been spinning some great covers that you've been doing over the past while. We had your Hall & Oates cover last week, Out of Touch, which is one of my favourite Hall & Oates songs, and then you had the Lady Gaga track Monster, and then Christina's song Heaven's Blend. That's how I came to discover you really a few months ago. And how did you discover Christina's song and come to covering that?
Well, actually, the first one I found of hers was her Beauty Cleanse the Mind song.
Yeah.
There was this songwriting group on Facebook, and I really hadn't been on it for like a couple of years. And I got a notification that somebody was like, hey, check out my song. And normally I just tune that out because that's what 100,000 people in the group say every day,
Sure.
But for some reason, I decided to go listen to it, and then I really liked it and kind of just followed her work ever since. And I found her other songs, including Heaven's Blend, a little bit later.
Yeah. Like yourself, she's a great writer, interesting songs. They're very atmospheric and very kind of, there's a like a autobiographical sense to them too, and it's alternative in a way, which is kind of, it's interesting for the moment now. When some things can be very generic and a little bit bland, it's one way to kind of get your music heard, seen, and when it's very authentic in that regard, and it's a one-off. It's no one can replicate it. You're very much your own artist and have your own artistry and your own way of doing things and writing things, and which is excellent.
Yep. Yeah, and I think a lot of her stuff too seems simple on the surface, and then you kind of listen to it and it feels like there's deeper meaning to every line.
Very much so.
And I kind of work with a lot of double meanings myself too. Everything has two ways of being taken.
Sure. Sometimes more than two. But just like I said, do you have a particular songwriting method? Because I know each song can be different, and artists are inspired by many different things, and inspiration can strike at different times. If you do have one, what would you say would be your main songwriting method?
Usually I kind of picture things I want to say to somebody.
Okay.
So, I'll kind of keep a notebook and just sort of write down stuff that I want to say, and then it becomes lyrics later on as I put it together. I kind of, if I'm playing guitar and I come up with a little bit of a melody line for one line that I want to start with, I'll be like, okay, is this a verse line or a chorus line? And let's just say it's a chorus. I'll plop it down in that spot, and then I'll figure out which line starts the verse. And then after a while, it looks like an outline, and I start writing in the lines to connect the lines that I have on the page.
Brilliant.
So that's pretty much where I go from there. And then I transfer it to synth-based stuff, in the production side after the guitar thing.
Yeah, excellent. So that's a very interesting method to write. I write songs myself, but not so kind of. I'm more of a lyricist than a musician. I'm a very basic musician, trying to tune up on that, but and to be able to write kind of on my own. But I kind of do need a bit of help. But I can come up with basic melodies, of course. But I do need a musician to kind of, as you said, add the production end of it later on. But is synth-based music something you're very, I guess, inspired by? In the 80s, I mean, we had Hall & Oates, your cover of Hall & Oates last week, which was a very, very interesting take on that song, Out of Touch. Completely worlds away from the original and in the atmosphere. Obviously, the song is the same, the lyrics are the same, and the general structure, but it's a great song, and I really enjoyed your version of it.
Yeah, I usually take even a cover and I kind of apply it to what I'm feeling at the time. So, I rewrote a few of the lyrics. I feel like it's definitely a great song, the original.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of stuff in the 80s is kind of experimental and it's a little all over the place and unstructured sometimes.
Yeah.
And that one, it's like, if it didn't have a catchy chorus, you'd be like, where's the song even going?
Yeah, exactly.
So I took the first thing that was kind of a pre-chorus and I sang it the second verse too, to kind of give the song a little more of a structure to it.
Yeah.
But but at the time I was like feeling kind of connected with somebody, and then that connection sort of disappeared for a bit, and I was kind of putting the emotion of like feeling lost from them or something, I guess you'd say. I don't know.
Very much, no, very much. Again, it was fitting, only fitting. In terms of gigs, have you been doing gigs? Are you planning on doing some gigs or taking your material kind of to a live setting?
I used to have a band years ago, and I kind of miss doing that in a way. But I feel like the world's kind of changed with that since the last time I did it, and it's like nobody really goes out for anything live unless it's something they could throw up on TikTok, like I was at this place, and it's like they need bragging rights for it. They don't go just to watch music, I feel like.
Yeah, I get it, but I find here in Ireland, I don't know what it's like in Minnesota at the moment, there's a lot, that's kind of changing. I think that was kind of the feeling here for a while as well, but there's a lot of really great alternative music starting to spring up in alternative places, and it's not about getting on Instagram and social media and TikTok. It is about going and listening and really kind of feeling that live environment again. So hopefully it will pick back up. I think post-COVID, it's helped because with COVID, it kind of took away that vehicle for live musicians to go out and perform. And I think since COVID has happened, it's come back with a vengeance. And people who are really, really great artists and they're underground really kind of want to get out there and showcase their live ability. So hopefully that'll change.
Yeah, I think where you're at seems to be a little bit better for it. We had like a local music group, I guess, in the town here, and I went on there and I'm like, I was like, I'm trying not to be insulting, but do we even have a music scene? Because
sure.
Everyone posts like, I'm playing at this place, nobody likes the post, and then they post a video of them playing to an empty room. And they're like, well, do you have a better idea? And it's like, I don't know, change something.
No, it can be hard, but it's starting to come back here a little bit, I think, not just for the sake of doing it. It's just some really cool venues and kind of cool people up and coming. So hopefully they'll make a difference. In terms of visuals, do you plan on doing any kind of visuals? I know there's a lot of interesting artwork that comes with your videos and things like that you post, but do you plan on ever doing, I know it's expensive and it costs a lot of money to shoot visuals to go along with the music, but your music is very atmospheric, but visual too. I could imagine it with visual, components in a way.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to do that. I bought a camera sometime at the end of last year. I haven't really got to mess with it yet. And there's a couple of people that might kind of help me out with that. But yeah, I think for covers, I'm going to kind of stick with the animations I do, the little paint things.
Yeah,
but I do have like, little mini movie kind of things I want to make for the videos for the originals.
Brilliant. Little vignettes almost. Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Excellent
I want to do one where I dress up like the Phantom of the Opera and
that'd be great.
Like a theater house or something. So
brilliant. That sounds really, really, really great and interesting. In terms of kind of, I suppose, an EP or an album down the line, do you think that's in your plans? Are you going to just release kind of standalone songs, which is kind of the thing to do now? And I'm saying that in quotation marks. Which is fine, and it is the way to do it. But I'm a bit more old school. I kind of like when people kind of put their songs together and have a kind of cohesive, element to it, a context, a theme.
Well, like you mentioned, I kind of go with the whole night thing. So I have a first album that's already kind of written, and I call it For the Princess.
Okay.
So that's going to be 7 songs, and they're all pretty much written, but I'm kind of like using my newer production skills to make them better, and rewriting some lyrics. Like even "She Darkens Clouds," I added the bridge to it and changed a lot of things about it. But yeah, so that album's pretty much done. It's just a matter of like refining it and getting it out. So that's one song down so far out of 7.
Excellent. Excellent stuff. Well, hopefully that'll be finished and we can hear that in the near future, and we can spin some tracks from it here on Urban Smooth as well. And yeah, just before I let you go, really, really want to say it was great talking to you, and thank you for coming on. And we're going to be spinning your music, for the foreseeable here on Urban Smooth. Try and get people on as often as possible, but there's a lot of great kind of influx of music coming in, new music coming in. I try and give everyone a shot, everyone a chance who may not be kind of played on mainstream radio. Some spins, but if I don't catch it on one week, it'll be the following week, or I'll alternate it, but just before I let you go, Signed in Red, if you want what I call, and I always say to my interview guests, to have their freestyle moment, you don't have to rap, it's not that kind of freestyle, don't worry, but if you want to kind of plug whatever you want to plug, say whatever you want to say, you can plug whatever you want, any upcoming projects, and even let people know where they can find your music who may not be familiar.
Well, I mean, as temperamental as these platforms can be, I guess I would rather just say my website, signedinred.com.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
I actually designed it myself and set up the main page like a link tree, so it goes to all the socials.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been on it and had a look. Yeah.
So that'd be people can pick where they want to go from there.
And that's signedinred.com.
Yep.
Signedinred.com. And what about Fumbling in the Dark? I actually wanted to ask you about Fumbling in the Dark. That's a really interesting concept. How did that come about?
Well, I just kind of wanted to, I was doing a few talking videos here and there, and I wanted to sort of solidify it into a little series, and then it kind of felt like there was some continuity to it. And it's kind of a challenge because it's like I have a lot of things I want to talk about, but it's a music page. So it's like I got to find a way to tie it back into music.
Sure.
Even like on Facebook, I'll do a little quote of the week because I read a bunch of stuff, but I try to make it relevant to what I'm doing, like why I picked that quote or something.
Excellent.
But yeah, as far as the Fumbling in the Dark, I try to do one every couple of weeks or so, maybe.
Brilliant. No, I've been enjoying them. They're really, really interesting, and I've been enjoying the videos. And thanks for shouting me out on one of them, of course. I appreciate it. And Keith as well. And Dublin South FM, you mentioned in when you were discussing kind of Christina's song. So it's always great to get a shout out when I mention.
Yeah. And I guess that's maybe the main thing I would want to say. It's like, I'm not really out to get famous, I guess. I'm not looking to make money at this. It's just kind of to connect with people, and it's nice to make people feel seen and boost them up here and there.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people, and if I sincerely like something about what they did, then I want to draw attention to it if possible.
No, absolutely, and ditto. Likewise here. I mean, if I can get an artist on who, like I said, it can showcase them even in a small scale, it makes all the difference. If one person can connect with it and stream the music, buy the music, hopefully, and get familiar, it's always a good thing. Well, Signed in Red, it was really, really lovely to talk to you. And She Darkens Clouds is the song. You've heard it here on Urban Smooth. Check out signedinred.com, and you can check out the videos and the music, and discover what you need to discover on there. Much obliged. You're very welcome to come back on the show anytime you want to discuss music and talk different projects that you have to promote, and anytime you can come back.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Not at all. You're very welcome.
93.9 Dublin South FM.